Yo, 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 what up everybody? Welcome to the stream. Let's say hello to Gamer Dragon and Virtual Farmer. Hey guys, what up, what up? How are you today?
Oh, hey, how we all doing?
Hey, let me know guys if you can hear clearly Gamer Dragon and VF. I hope everything is fine. Let me bump up the volume. Yo guys, what up? Say something.
Woo!
Alright, that's a bit too much.
No, I'm not. I'm just going to sit here and just do nothing. That's what I'm going to do tonight. I've decided.
Right, guys. How is everybody doing today? Of course, I don't have almost anything on right now, which of course I need to turn on stream labels. I need to turn on restream chat. Everything is going awful. Right. Oh, that was a bit cool. Do you see how I'm seeing, man? Huh? I'm a Learn Pro. Right. So, today's episode topic is gaming evolution at its finest. So, let me quickly remove this. And VF, why don't you start? I'm not sure if you guys totally understand what I was trying to say.
just about. It's fine.
Just about, yeah, of course.
I'll just talk about whatever I want to talk about. So we're good.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think back to the games I played that really.
No, I want you to start. Really, I want you to start from your first childhood memory of just reaching to a game. Doesn't matter what kind of game it was. Just your first childhood memory.
The first computer game I ever remember playing was Snake on the Atari 2500.
Really?
Which is that was released in 1981.
He's
I
old.
think. And I got one in about 1984, 1985.
Wow, man.
And yeah, that is the first game I remember playing. Is Centipede on that.
How old were you then?
I'd have been about 8 years old.
Wow.
Giddy, yeah.
You?
Ooh, my first memory. Probably Gauntlet on the Spectrum 48K.
I haven't heard of that. Is that a game console or TV console?
You haven't heard of a Spectrum?
Fortunately, GD, I have. I had one.
Yo, probably when you played one. Probably when you played, my parents were in high school.
I thought we were friends.
Oh no, GD, I had a 128K with Spectrum Plus 2, so I had the tape deck attached.
You had the tape deck. Yes.
Attached to it.
Yes.
But I remember Gauntlet was one of those games where you got to a certain point and you had to play the tape to load the next set of levels.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
And if you got one of the jump portals that jumped you sort of 20 levels on, you played the level really quickly, and then you had to play the tape for 2 minutes to load the next set of levels.
Yep.
Wow, man, that's
the thing with the Spectrum. You had to. What I used to do, I used to get up in the morning, get myself ready for school, put the tape cassette in, and then hit load, and then go to school, and hopefully by the time you've got home from school, it hasn't crashed.
Yeah.
That's how long it took to load a game.
How is the stream, guys? Can you guys hear Gamer Dragon and Virtual Farmer well? If something's wrong with the audio, let me know. Sorry, guys, carry on.
No, yeah, I was just saying. I had the Spectrum 48K. I had the small one with the rubber keys.
Yes. The original.
Yes, I had that one. But when I say it, not all the keys were rubber because they used to just fall apart, basically. So, yes, but yeah, Gauntlet. That was my.
I had so many games on that. I had Gauntlet. I had the Ghostbusters. The original Ghostbusters game on that on the Spectrum is an absolute classic. It was so brilliant. I'm trying to figure out. I remember one of the enduring memories I have about that machine was the cassettes. So you buy the Spectrum magazine every month, and it would have about 10 to 15 games on it.
Yeah.
And I remember getting bowling game on it that I worked out that if you just tapped the joystick to the right slightly and then press the button, then tapped again, so the thing you got a strike every time.
Yeah. Cheating even back then. Look.
Oh god, yeah.
No, I'm just trying to think of the other games. Paperboy.
Giddy, Jesse says that he doesn't have any clue what you're talking about. Poor for you, Jesse. Poor for you, man. Come on. That ain't cool.
Of all the people in the chat, I would expect Jessis to know what we're talking about more than anybody else.
Come on, man.
Yes.
You have to know. Come on.
Jess, if you're telling the truth, Jess, you just leave now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be gone, I say. Be gone. Right, you know what? Where is it? You know what? Stream's out. That's it. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Jessis. Bye-bye.
Oh, God.
The thing is, you're going from that, and the next machine I had an original NES, an original NES.
Ooh. Do you still have it?
I don't, unfortunately. I think I sold it to buy a Mega Drive.
Oh, interesting. Right. But the thing in Bulgaria is, guys, because we were a lot of the Russian influence back in the days, right after the World War II, and for the next 40 years, roughly after 1990, we democracy, woohoo, everybody's free. So every Western piece of machine was a bad influence. Every Western piece of information was bad influence. So consoles, nah. We had these when I grew up. I'm glad that I managed to grab the there was a bit of these Chinese knockoffs of NES, for example, Mega Drive, and they were very popular in Bulgaria because at that time when I was a kid, young Bulgarians were a little bit poor, so they couldn't afford to buy an original NES, for example. But there were these cool Chinese knockoffs with one diskette inside, but with preloaded 100 of games. You have Mario with Luigi version 1. You have the original one. You have Mario and Luigi, but with, for example, you start on level 10. The first 10 levels are gone. That's a whole new game.
Yes.
Oh man. I remember crying. There was this game, Circus, I think it was called. I remember crying to that game because I couldn't able to jump a ball. Remember with on that pistol when you had to kill the ducks and the dog laughs at you when you miss.
Oh, Duck Hunt.
Duck Hunt. Yes, Duck
What
Hunt.
a game.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got to be careful how you say that, don't you? Really?
Shut up. Shut up.
What?
Duck
Just saying.
Hunt.
Yes.
Well, all right. You know, in America there are in America there are a lot of people with that name, right? You're gonna go in hell, Giddy, for saying that.
Okay. Bye. Well, we're going now.
Okay, I'm kind of wondering what name you're referring to. Because if there's anybody in America named Duck Hunt, I feel really sorry for them.
Right. Which game except Mario do you guys think had the most influence, for example, of just bringing that console immersion? We're not speaking PlayStation and that. We're still around the 70s and 80s.
Wow, that's
on the NES, the one game
In general.
In general, I would say, certainly on the NES, I would say Link. Legend of Zelda, the original of that. Massive game on the original NES. Huge impact. And if you're looking beyond Mario, that's Nintendo signature character there. Other than that, you're looking at games like you're looking at the real classics. So you're looking at Pong, and you're looking at Gauntlet. Actually, Gauntlet very much.
What
Massive
game? Gong.
Gauntlet. So the game that
Oh.
GG, massive arcade game that was
Mhm.
that got pulled to various machines.
Yeah.
Right.
And I would say on the Mega Drive or on the Master System as it was, there'd be things like Altered Beast and things like that, which again, massive games. And Golden Axe, an awesome arcade game ported to an early console.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the Master System, if you remember the Master System had that one game that was pre-installed.
Yeah.
Alex Kidd in Miracle World. Now that's Mario-ish kind of game. It's that kind of platform game. And I think that game was a very good... It brought the Master System community together because that was a game that everybody had because it was pre-installed on the Master System. So I think that was... probably one of the first consoles to ever have a pre-installed game.
I think it was the only console to have a pre-installed. I can't think of any other console that has a pre-installed game on it.
Yeah, I don't think there is.
Even the ones before that, even the Atari ones before that, didn't have a pre-installed game on them.
You know, the funny part of all of this that you guys talk is my parents probably were in high school when you guys played those games. And I've never played any of these games. I'm too little.
On a more general point, I think one of the great things about the early consoles, and that's going right up to the early 90s and the SNES and the Mega Drive and those, is almost all of them were ports from arcade games. So you could walk into an arcade and you'd play the impossibly hard Turtles arcade game, and then you could go and buy the disc or the cartridge and then go and play it at home and suck at it just as much at home as you sucked at it in the arcade, but you'd be not pushing all the coins in to keep playing. And that's the thing.
Track and Field was mine.
Track and Field. Awesome game.
Track and Field. I remember that game. Come on, I remember that game. You have to give it that, Tony. I remember that game.
I used to steal my mum's cigarette lighters because if you got a cigarette lighter and rubbed it between the two buttons, it made the person run quicker.
Oh,
brilliant!
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, you're killing me. You know that? You're literally killing me. Because I remember some of these like a small, I don't know, it's not cheating, but like a life hack on the console controllers. I remember what that game was. It was on Contra. I don't remember actually the game, but you had a dedicated button for the special move, but you had to make a certain amount of points, like beat up a certain type of guys before you can actually use this special weapon or special move. I don't remember now. But the dedicated button was far of my reach, so I just taped that button. I literally taped it, and whenever that move was ready, I was here you go.
I don't know if GD knew this cheat for Gauntlet. Gauntlet, if you held down the symbol key on the Spectrum, you could walk through walls. And so on my Spectrum, the symbol key was taped down.
I had a matchstick stuck in mine. End of a matchstick.
So many.
All right, so right, I think we can move on. So let's go to more modern times, and let's talk about. I mean, you're gonna talk about first. Sorry, guys. PlayStation, the first PlayStation. What was it when you guys first heard the news about this new game console with 3D graphics and all of this?
When I first heard about the PlayStation, I went, I'm not selling my Nintendo for that. I'm going to keep going with that. In all honesty, I never had a PlayStation 1. I never owned the original PlayStation, and it purely was because I was up until the GameCube pretty much Nintendo only. I had a Mega Drive, but on the Mega Drive it was almost exclusively Marvel Comics games. So I had all the X-Men games, all the Spider-Man games, everything like that on the Mega Drive. But Nintendo very much was where I was focused.
Mm-hmm.
So I had when the PlayStation came out, I think that was around the same time as either the SNES or the N64. I went out and bought an N64 on day of release, which at the time, well, you couldn't pre-order it at the time. So I was driving around most of Surrey looking for somewhere that was stocking an N64. And I ended up buying the N64 in one shop and then going around all the shops trying to find somewhere that actually had a game in stock as well. And so I didn't have Mario 64 on release, but I did have, but I had Pilot Wings, and I played Pilot Wings endlessly. But yeah, I never had a PlayStation. I thought that I was very much against them when they came out.
Yeah, I didn't have one when they first came out. But what made me get one was Final Fantasy.
Oh, I remember one of my classmates. He was a huge fan of Final Fantasy. I think was 12 or 13 PC version though. Yeah. He was a huge fan. He wasn't stop talking about that Final Fantasy stuff, and none of our classmates were into that craziness. None of us, but no, I continued.
I've never got into Final Fantasy, if I'm honest. I've never quite the whole JRPG thing just doesn't appeal to me.
I mean, I still do it to this day. I see something and I go, wow, that looks really good. And then I'll go and buy it, and then I'll realise that I suck at playing those kind of games.
We know.
Exactly. You've all seen my channel. You've all seen my channel, right? I'm going to change the logo to just I suck, and then that's going to be done. Job done.
Fahi90 says, came across my old Sega Mega Drive a few months ago. I need to fire it up again sometime, see if it still works. Actually, guys, did you know there is a YouTube channel, a very big one, where this guy is restoring old stuff, consoles, internet pods. I cannot find his channel right now. If I did, I was just going to post it in chat, but one of his videos was very interesting. He used an old school 56K modem to go on a modern site. Of course, it took him ages, but it was very cool. Like, wow, I when you hear that squeaking noise of the internet back in the day, and I was like, right now I'm 6'4", but back in the day I was able to walk straight up beneath the table, but I still remember that sound.
My first online gaming experience was on a 64K modem.
Wow.
So I was playing multiplayer on the internet over a 64K modem.
And how that made you feel?
It worked.
Sort of. I mean,
thing at the time.
Probably
you've upgraded a little bit then, Via.
Well, yeah, only a little bit. I've managed to get to a meg upload.
Probably by the time you finish the game, you all of a sudden you're married with kids, you have a job.
But that was the first game I played online was Star Trek Voyager Elite Force.
Ooh, okay.
Played the death matches of that. Obviously, not the first game that I played multiplayer like that because I used to play Doom. Played the original Doom multiplayer.
Oh, Doom.
Yeah, I forgot about Doom. Three of us. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Doom.
Doom, yeah. Wow, that game, like, I remember I was scared from that game. Even from Doom 3, I was very scared from Doom 3 to play it. I was playing it only in daylight and when my mother was around, never alone.
Doom 3 I could only play in 20-minute chunks. Any longer than that, and I was too scared to keep playing it.
Oh man!
I remember playing Doom. You used to be able to play multiplayer on the PlayStation 2, but you had to take your console and your TV around a friend's house to actually play it. So I remember doing that. But the thing with Doom was the spawn spot used to be the same. So if you stood near the spawn spot, you could just kill people as they respawned. So
yes,
which is another little cheat. Surprising.
Well, proper spawn camping.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Right. So. Let's move on a little bit more and let's say PlayStation 2. Did you guys manage to get that PlayStation? Because now for PlayStation 2 I can definitely say something. For the first, I don't know, 28-30 minutes of my own podcast I was a guest, but now I can definitely say something. Finally! You can talk.
Yes, I had a PlayStation 2. The game I played more than anything else on PlayStation 2 was Guitar Hero.
You need to live stream that video.
Yeah, you should. You should.
Anymore.
You should.
But yeah,
we should get a band together. That's what we should do.
Oh.
Witchy says Doom used to give me motion sickness.
Oh, the original would, yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Doom used to make me rage quit. So.
Rage quit?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
But just going back to Doom, I had Doom. I remember buying Quake on its day of release. I remember buying Heretic, which was sort of a magic version of Quake, and Quake 2, and all of those when they first came out. And it's, and to this day I still love playing games like that because they are great for releasing tension and just sort of having a bit of a stress relief.
Yes. I totally get that.
Witchy says Doom coming out on VF very soon. Can't wait. Yippee!
Oh,
we can't miss that. We cannot miss that.
At risk of getting grumpy catted again, I am very tempted to do some of the new version of Doom on my second channel. I really am, because I think that would fit in and be a lot of fun.
I remember the first time ever when I touched a gaming device in general was a PC, but going up in the years, I remember the first time when I saw a PlayStation 2, but in real life. I mean, of course, we see commercials, and it was actually very late. The first time I ever played on PlayStation 2, I was 14 years old, so it was like 5-6 years ago. Before that, like I said, guys, consoles are just starting to be, I as a part of a Bulgarian child. Before PC. Before that, no, nothing. Anything Western weren't very good in Bulgaria. So, especially GameCube, those small consoles. I remember when the around 2004, 2005, when the PSP came out. It was cool, but definitely when the first time when I start playing on PlayStation 2, and of course the first game I ever played on that PlayStation was Need for Speed Underground 1, the original, of course. And I was like, I played this game years ago on PC. Why am I playing it now? Oh, it has a vibration feedback. That's so cool. Oh my god, blah blah blah. But nah, PC is in my heart. But yeah, guys, what happened, for example, when the PlayStation 2 came out and you heard all that fancy graphics? I think the original PlayStation 2 had 32 megabytes of RAM, video RAM, I think, something like that. Wasn't it crazy?
I've got to be honest. When the PS2 came out, I stuck with my PS1 for a while.
Mm.
Until
I'll be right back, guys.
All right, don't turn off your camera though. Did he turn off his camera?
He's done something. Yes.
Ah, okay, right.
But yes, I didn't buy one straight out.
Mm-hmm.
I had the PS1 and didn't really feel the need to take that next step to the PS2 straight away. So it was a good few months before I got one, and I think I actually got one. My mate was selling one, and I think I bought one second hand, if memory serves. But I honestly can't. Wow, I can't remember, to be honest, whether I bought a new one or got a second hand one.
What was the price?
Oh God, I have no idea. I have no idea how much I paid for.
Huh.
For
Probably
that.
was a lot. Probably was a lot.
Well, I mean, I think they were in the hundreds.
Wow.
You know, I think when they
just a
first
sec. VF, do you like your new face? I was about to put this on you when you came. So
Go back.
I can't see any difference. What's going on?
Oh man, but yeah, continue.
Yeah, I honestly, I think in all fairness, I think the PS2 is probably the one console that I didn't really have too much involvement with. In all fairness, I think I stuck with my PS1 and just upgraded when I could. But I don't think I had a PS2 for long until they then brought out the PS3, to be honest.
My thing with with consoles in general by that point was I was much more into PC gaming. So the last sort of 20 years, I've been much more of a PC gamer than a console gamer, and that's come to a head now where the only console I actually have is a Nintendo Wii. So all my other consoles I've sold, and I only have that because it's a very different experience to a PC.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel no need to have a PS4 or an Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
Yeah.
That's the trouble. I don't even know what the latest Xbox is.
What?
Yeah, but they've gone about it all wrong, haven't they? I mean, Xbox 360, and then Xbox One. I mean, that's just.
I think there was the Xbox 720 for some time. It was some kind of an upgraded version.
There was something like that, but The thing is, these days I don't feel that I can get an experience from a console that I get from my PC.
But so we got to a point where we passed the TV consoles, we passed PlayStation 1. We can talk a little bit more on the Wii U, of course, because that console, we cannot just talk about consoles in development without mentioning the Wii U. But which game do you think from PlayStation 2 era had the biggest impact? Because let me just read a quick fact about GTA San Andreas on PlayStation 2. So GTA San Andreas 5, GTA 5 has shipped over 32 million copies as of 2015. So when GTA 5 came out, it shipped 32 million copies worldwide. GTA San Andreas, when it came out for PlayStation 2 in 2004, which is more than 10 years before GTA 5, shipped 17 million units in 3 months. So what do you think about that, guys? So GTA 5, 10 years after GTA San Andreas, shipped 32 million copies in 1 year. GTA San Andreas for PlayStation 2 shipped 17 million copies for 3 months. I don't know how this is possible, but I can read it.
The interesting thing is, going a little bit further back, I remember buying the original GTA. I remember having the original GTA and how big of a game that was. How incredible it was to have an open world game. I mean, GTA you could do anything in, and to be perfectly honest, my play style between GTA, GTA 3, GTA San Andreas, and now GTA 5 is all the same. I go in the game and I kill people.
Did you use that? I'm not sure if, but probably you guys know, and definitely VF knows that, but there was this hot coffee cheat in the game. Yeah. Come on, VF. Oh, you're nodding. I know. You're a bad boy. We know it. We know it. Come on. I remember when I was a kid, and probably you had this in England as well, these computer clubs where you get to play games, because of course most people didn't have computers in their houses, right? These internet cafes.
Yeah.
And I remember going with my friends, but we were, I don't know, 12, 13 years old, small kids. We were choosing the computer which was in the corner, always in the dark corner, and we just start trying to get this hot coffee to work. We just didn't know that probably the version of San Andreas was clean or something. We were just, I remember when I heard it, I was like, yo guys, do you know you can do this and this in a game? Yeah, in the game, man, let's go to the internet cafe and try it. And the person who ran that cafe was a very strict person about PG games. So let's say that in the end, we were trying to hide what we were trying to do on his computers.
The thing is,
success.
I think that kind of thing has existed since people were able to mod on the PC, because I distinctly remember there being a mod for, I think it was the original Tomb Raider, that allowed you to
to take a peek.
In a PG way.
To
remove Lara Croft's clothes.
Oh, yeah.
Basically got her to run around the mansion naked.
And who wouldn't want to see that?
Well, let me read you another PlayStation 2 fact. The last PlayStation 2 PlayStation 2 game was released in 2013, guys. The PS2 has over than 3,800 titles that came out for this game. Almost 4,000 titles. Did I say 380? No, it's 3,800 titles, which combined get roughly 1.5 billion copies sold worldwide. And actually, the FIFA 14 was the last game to be made for the PS2 on September 24th of 2013, which is almost 2014, guys. Which, come on, really, that game? When was the original? When was the PlayStation 2 came out? 1999.
I was gonna say I remember it. It's before I left uni, so yeah, it's got to be 99. Must be.
Let me check that. PlayStation 2 release date? No, it's 4th of March 2000 for Japan.
Okay.
For Japan, of course, because of course Japanese has to come before us. And
so they can hack it and send it away to us.
yeah. But come on, guys, that's almost 4,000 games made for this game, for this console. 4,000. I'm not sure if a lifespan, for example, how much time is gonna take you to play through every single game.
Oh wow.
For example, I'm not sure if you game for 14 hours, eat for 2 hours and sleep for 8 hours, 14 hours a day of gaming on the PlayStation 2, do you think that it will, I don't know, 20, 30 years are gonna be enough? I'm not sure, probably 100 years, okay, but wow, that's so many games. Imagine how much money you're gonna spend on games as well, and also memory cards. I remember those 32 megabytes of memory cards.
Yeah. If you played every game.
Yeah,
if
remember.
you played every game for 1 hour, it would take you 271 days based on a 14-hour day.
Wow.
So if you played every game, every one of the 3,800 games for 1 hour each, for 14 hours a day, it would take you the better part of a year to play a single game.
And we were just speaking about 1 hour. Like, okay, this is a game. By the time you even know the game, if you like it or not, you change it. And
that's roughly 9 months.
Wow.
It used to take 14 hours to load a Spectrum game. So
that's true.
Yeah, but did you guys remember when you had these memory cards and you actually get to the point where you had so many different saves, and it came to the point that you just had to delete a save, but you don't remember from which save from which game was, and when you accidentally delete a save when you didn't supposed to do that. I remember doing this on
days. Yeah, we come from the days when you couldn't save.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'm glad that I'm not living through these times.
I remember when I first got my when I first got the Game Boy. And Super Mario Land on that had no save function.
Really?
And to get to the hard version of the game, you had to play the game through once and beat it. And if you turned it off, it reset it. So you had to play for an hour and a quarter to get through the main game, which is what I got it down to, just to get to the harder version of the game to play it all again. And then you had to hope the batteries lasted long enough for you to be able to play the hard version through as well.
Yeah, but
none of these chargeable stuff. No. You had to actually get proper batteries.
I don't know, but I'm a fan of cables. Especially for gaming. I'm a big fan of cables. Every single controller that I have is with a proper cable. I don't know, just wireless? Nah. It's like with the modern phone, with the modern phones. I got my first smartphone 3 years ago. And all of my friends had smartphones way before me. They were smashing through the screen with their awful dirty fingers like I'm doing right now. But I had this old Nokia phone, and one time actually a car went through it and it survived. Try that with an iPhone. Good luck. Hello AT&T. I have a problem. So I don't know.
There are two things that will survive the nuclear apocalypse: cockroaches and a Nokia 6310.
Of course. Of course. I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah. Wow. Playing Snake on the Nokia. That was a.
Oh, wow.
Itself.
I'd say my first mobile phone was an analog mobile phone.
Right, let's not change the subject. Phones, consoles, please. Games.
Felix then is another podcast just ready and waiting.
Oh yeah, probably. Let me take my notebook. So next podcast is right.
Mobile phones and how they changed the world.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about more of the controllers themselves, because we spoke for consoles, because I'm referring to the Wii U right now. Like we said, the Wii U was that console which actually made motion control work. Because I'm not sure if you guys know, but they tried to experiment with these motion controls way back in the days. I think either Nintendo or Sony came out with this Power Glove, and it wasn't working.
Oh, it's Nintendo Power Glove.
Nintendo Power Glove, yeah.
Puts out the first motion, the successful motion control was actually the
Sex? What you're talking about? Try again.
Was the Wii, not the Wii U. Because the Wii predates the Wii U by about 4 years, 3 years.
Did I say Wii U?
Yeah, Wii U is handheld, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. So Wii console, the Wii console. But I think because I played Wii a lot. One of my friends had Wii. His father bought him from. It was actually a generic console from Japan. Because his father was working on a ship, so he bought him that, and just it was the first piece of gaming equipment. Doesn't matter, console, PC, a game. It was the first generic piece of equipment from outside of Europe, and I knew that this wasn't sold in Europe and in Bulgaria. The only way you can grab it is actually if you go to Japan, because it was the Japanese version. And actually the Japanese version was a little bit faster. I'm not sure how fast, but it has, for example, if the worldwide version has for example, the Japanese version was like 20% faster with loading, something like that. But later they changed it, because of course everybody else thought that, come on, that's not fair. Why the Japanese can have faster console? But I remember when we were loading this game, Wii Sports, like the combo games, bowling, tennis, golf. I was playing so much basketball.
Bowling for me.
I am a master at the tennis on Wii Sports.
Oh man, let me actually load some Wii U videos for our audience. But did you guys try that console?
Oh, I still have that console. In fact, the local sort of second-hand cash converters type place has a Guitar Hero controller and game in it.
Oh, I always wanted to
Wii.
play that game. I never had the
it's
chance.
like 15 quid, and I'm going to walk in there one day and buy that because that is my favorite console and one of my favorite games together. So, you know, and that's been sitting there for months, and I'm just, one Saturday I'm just going to walk in there and go, 15 quid, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm surprised that's still there, to be honest.
Yeah, so am I. But the thing that surprises me, and the thing that stops me doing that is the fact that I haven't booted that console up in a year.
Yeah,
so I just, in general, I just don't go, I'm going to play the console. What is exceptional about the Wii, and what the Wii did, the Wii U and even what's the name of their new one that I can't remember now? The Switch. What those haven't done that the Wii managed to do was make console gaming for everyone. So you look at the PlayStation and you look at the Xbox, and that's very much gamers and still very much I know that there are female gamers, and I don't want to come off sounding like I'm being very generic, but it's still very focused on male gamers of a certain age. Those consoles.
Maybe.
What I mean is, in comparison, the Wii is much more open. It's a much more casual gaming, much more family orientated, much more open and inclusive idea behind it.
Well, when they brought out the Wii Fit, I mean, that was just something completely different to what anyone has ever done, I think. And I think that made it. You could not buy a Wii Fit board when they first come out. It was impossible.
Fitboard wasn't that Wii Fitboard? It wasn't look like a skateboard, right?
Yeah. It used to be done for Wii Fit, and you could use it for. But then they did bring it into all the snowboarding games and the skateboarding
I
games.
actually have one next door.
Can you grab it?
Yes.
Can you grab it for the stream, please?
Yeah, I can go and grab it.
Go for it then. Come on. Don't turn off your camera though, because you don't know what's gonna happen to you.
Okay, I'll turn the sound off though.
Okay, that works.
Dear. No, I haven't got my Wii Fit board. I've still got a Wii Fit. I've still got a Wii. No, I do have stuff.
I actually tried the. I'm not sure if you guys know, but Tony Hawk, the skateboarder, he was working with, I think, was Sega. I'm not sure, but they made a skateboard game with an actual skateboard controller. It was awful. It didn't work, and I tried it. Wasn't working. It was awful. Look at VF how he's excited right now.
You can see it in his face, can't you?
So that is a Wii Fitboard.
You should actually play it on stream.
Why is there no dust all over it? There should be dust completely covering that.
No, it is. It has got a couple of stains on it. It is a little bit old, but yeah, that's my Wii Fit.
Is that a coffee? Is that a coffee ring on the top of it? Have you been standing your coffee on? Yeah.
Come on, man! You should load the game and play it on stream. Come on. VF.
To try to, I don't have any game capture stuff for my.
No, you're gonna just turn your camera towards you, and we're gonna watch you on the side.
No, to set that up would just be hell.
So if you actually fall, you wouldn't be able to hear us laughing because you're not gonna have your headphones on. So that's good for you. That's gonna be good for you. Oh man. I still don't believe you actually have it. That's awesome, man. That's the thing. The only thing from my childhood gaming that I have is a bunch of CD disc for old games like Age of Empires, Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2. But console wise, nah. Because I'm not sure if you guys know, but there is this E32 emulator for the arcade games where you can actually load any arcade game, Pac-Man, Mario, Cadillacs of Dinosaurs, Castle Fight, what was the Contra. These kind of games you can load in on the emulator and you can play it on PC. But I don't have my old TV console, the Chinese knockoff. But I would buy, for example, a original NES if I could, just to play it. But nah.
I'm very, very tempted by a SNES Mini. I'm very tempted to get one of those.
Didn't they released a HD version of NES, right? Which you can play your favorite games. It's preloaded. It has the HDMI output as well.
Yeah, so the NES Mini goes for ridiculous money these days.
Oh, I remember I was reading an article about how a person managed to pre-order one, and when he got it, he sold it for 10 times the price.
Just looking on Amazon at the moment, there are SNES Minis for £215.
But that's exactly what everyone did with the Wii. They all pre-ordered about 10 to 20 Wiis. And then as soon as it was released, you couldn't buy one, and then they were going for ridiculous money. That's what people do, especially.
But there's also an issue there with Nintendo's false levels of short production numbers.
Yes. Yeah.
They don't produce on purpose. They don't produce enough of them. Which is generally mad.
Well, of course they're gonna sell more than they actually can produce, man. Come on.
No, but there's good evidence that they actually produce a lot less than the demand, which is a bit mad. But actually, looking at Amazon with the because they recently announced that they're going to be re-releasing the NES Mini. And it looks like
then.
Yes, because the NES Mini got released last year, and they're doing the SNES Mini this year. So the SNES Mini this year, and it actually looks like it's caused a price drop by the looks of things, which is quite good.
But just I don't know, it's crazy. And I remember watching videos a long time ago about consoles which go for ridiculous money, and it's not necessarily for them to work. They still cost a lot. It's like, whoa, man, just for a not working console to pay, I don't know, like $500. What the hell?
Yeah, I think the where we are at the minute, going back to where me and VF have been, that's now what's known as classic gaming now, which is, but yeah, you can fall asleep, Stan, it's absolutely fine. You'll never understand. Oh dear, but that is. I do agree.
You know what classic is, man? Come on, I'm not that. I'm not that old.
I do agree that there is, the price of classic consoles now is ridiculous, and I always have said that if I can see one for a decent price, I'm having one. So, because I would like, and who wouldn't, but I would like one of every console.
Yeah, one of the things I would love to start doing is buying classic consoles.
If you go to YouTube, guys, you can actually find a bunch of videos of people who have ridiculous collections of different consoles. It's just like a basement full of games and consoles.
I have an old work colleague who collects old consoles.
You should pay him a visit then.
I went round to his house a few times. And,
did he give you a candy?
We're playing classic stuff.
Sorry? Did he give you a candy for that console?
You. I wish.
You wish to... Oh, man. Right.
I just agree that I'd done.
Yes, you literally did. It was again live on stream. And it's captured. If I were you, I would delete my YouTube channel straight up.
No, he's not. It's fine.
Right. But yeah, I remember having a lot of fun with the Wii. Now that I'm think about it, like I'm gonna say Guitar Hero again. Actually, I lied. I tried Guitar Hero. It was last year when I was working for the summer in the America in the US. So I stopped by at GameSpot to check out. I wanted to buy a Yoda minifigure, and I saw a Guitar Hero setup, and it was actually free to play for everybody who wants to try. And I tried it. I like it. I miserably failed. People laughed at me, thought that I was just this stupid European who doesn't know how to play it, but they didn't know that I know English, so I just cursed them in Bulgarian. They looked at me very strange, but everything was fine, of course. But yeah, sometimes when I think about it, because, okay guys, did you remember that, I'm not sure if you guys had this feeling, but when you were little and you go to your friend to play a game, doesn't matter PC, doesn't matter, okay, not PC because you're both older than me, but for consoles, and you tell yourself, wait till I get older, have a job, I will buy this game. You don't think about how everything's gonna evolve. Probably you don't think about that. Probably more interesting stuff gonna come up. You think for that particular console or a game that when you grow up, when you have the possibility, you're gonna buy it. And of course you don't, because more stuff came up.
This is why Steam is so dangerous. Because that's exactly what I do with Steam. I go on and I buy games that are 20 years old that I love, and I play them. And the reason I got back into XCOM is that's exactly how I have the original XCOM on my computer now. And they did like a deal for the entire XCOM back catalogue for like £15, and you could get all of them. And the same with Tomb Raider. I have all of the Tomb Raider games through Steam, and you know, and it's great like that. And the original SimCity, so not the original SimCity, but SimCity 4.
Oh yes, Sims. We forgot about Sims. We forgot about SimCity.
SimCity 4, in my opinion, is probably the best SimCity game.
SimCity 4?
Yeah. It's at the pinnacle. It's before they started mucking about with the online stuff with it.
Oh yeah, I agree. I definitely agree.
And that is an awesome game. I mean, the original and SimCity 2000, and in fact, every one up to that. So SimCity 2000, 3000, and SimCity 4 are all fantastic games. I have lost entire nights to that game.
Actually, I will say that SimCity 3000 was one of my favorite games. Like, I think I got into the simulation tycoon type of games when I started playing SimCity 3000. That game.
My history with SimCity is a fairly checkered past. Um, so the original SimCity, I couldn't get hold of the game, and so I simulated my own version of SimCity using Paint on a PC,
What?
which was
What?
hilarious.
Well, way to go.
Absolutely.
SimCity 2000 required an SVGA monitor, SVGA graphics, and an SVGA monitor. We had SVGA graphics on our computer, but not an SVGA monitor. So the only part of the game that would appear was the top half of the screen. So I played, for the first 2 years, I played SimCity 2000, only seeing the top half of the screen and guessing along the bottom where I had to click various things for roads and things like that.
I remember. Yeah, you cannot see
So I
some
could
parts
not
of the screen.
anything across the bottom half of the screen. And I love that game. That game was absolutely awesome. As somebody has just pointed out, Jesse's has just pointed out in the chat, Railroad Tycoon. Oh wow, what an awesome game! But another game where I played it with one hand tied behind my back, because in that game you had to have a numeric keypad in order to place diagonal pieces of track. And I had it on the Atari ST, and my computer had no numeric keypad. So all of my rails were either north, south, or east, west. And so to go diagonally, it sort of stepped like that. But yeah, I love that. And
I never went down the Tycoon route. I went theme park. That was my game.
Oh, theme park.
You know that theme park was actually built by one guy. It was developed by one person.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Back in those days, quite often, that's exactly how most games were done.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't have these massive publishing houses and people like EA and things like that who went out and had teams of developers. You had one guy. Most of the classic Spectrum games were all done by one guy.
Yeah.
And it's, that was a properly golden age of gaming when you could go out and you could go, right, I'm going to program a game. You'd go to then someone like, they could then just publish it and it would be two men in a garage doing it. I think that's how Codemasters started out, if I remember. It was like two guys in a garage programming stuff for the Spectrum 48. Wow. And they just
Right. Let's move on. So we talked about early stages. I mean, your childhood memories mostly. We talk about the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, the Wii console, some of the most popular games like Mario, Donkey Kong, Contra. Did we miss anything? I mean, we spoke a little bit about GTA San Andreas as well, like that game. I mean, come on, hot coffee. Did we miss anything? To be fair, I would definitely show some gameplay on stream, but I'm a little bit scared because YouTube might say that it cannot monetize this gun violence stuff. So let's keep it to SimCity right now.
The one I would actually worry about, I don't know if you've shown any of it, is anything Nintendo based.
What?
They tend to claim
everything.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I had this before. I was actually trying to make a top 10 best Nintendo games, and there was no music in the video from Nintendo, but just the name Nintendo in the title says that nope, it's not gonna be monetized. I was like, man, get out of here. Right, but did we miss anything? Civilization, yes, Jesus.
Civ.
Civilization,
Yeah,
Civ.
Civ. Again, one of those games where, although for me it wasn't so much civilization as colonization.
Mm-hmm.
So I missed the original Civ and played colonization for hours and hours on end.
Hmm.
And again, those games are ones that I come back to. Even recently, I've played Beyond Earth, which is a Civ spin-off.
Mm-hmm.
And again, a fantastic game, and I love the kind of resource management stuff like that. It's just the open-endedness of it. I mean, when SimCity came out, that open-endedness, the fact that you didn't have a particular goal to finish the game, you could just keep playing forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was massively novel, and that produced an entire genre. And then you and then you get these spin-offs like Civ and Colonization and Transport Tycoon and Theme Park
Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Roller Coaster Tycoon. Yeah.
Theme Park.
Well, I think that they start to re-immerse again because we got the latest Civilization game, Age of Empires, is coming in. They got the StarCraft remasters and all about these roller coasters, City, Railroad Tycoon, Transport Tycoon. I mean, we had this railroad, I think was Railroad Simulation or just Railroad Tycoon, but it was a game that came out like a year ago. We had the City Skylines, which is the new version. We had a new game which probably you haven't heard of, Machinku. It's a very awesome railroad / tycoon game. What else? We for city building again, but more of a fantasy side. I mean, we have World of Warcraft, which let's say that it might be like Age of Empires a little bit, but just on the city building stuff. Right. Shall we move on to PC because it's a bigger topic. Transport Fever. Thank you, Jesus. That was the game I was trying to tell. Yep.
At the moment I just pulled up my Steam games list and I'm just having a look through it and kind of going, oh wow.
You should
we haven't got that long.
No, we haven't got that long, but I'm looking at sort of the classic stuff through it just to sort of remind me what I've got.
Well, we have 20-30 minutes more, so
Gauntlet is available on Steam. It is.
What?
Gauntlet. That's on Steam.
Gauntlet. Guys, this is a not across the border starring Stan the Man, Let's Gamer Dragon in VF. There was all the new stuff and features of Steam. VF close the Steam library right now before I do something to your face.
Sorry. Hello.
Yellow, what up? How are you? Welcome to the stream. Right. Hey, Norton State, welcome to the stream, man. Welcome.
Hey,
right.
State.
Perfect timing, by the way. Okay. Are you dying?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yes.
Oh, a live death. Awesome.
That's better.
Fatality.
Right.
Right.
You're gonna laugh in a second. Just wait for it.
Oh dear.
Right. Probably you guys don't hear the podcast stream, right?
I
Yeah,
can't
I
hear
don't
it.
know.
You can't hear it. Okay. After that, watch the recording. You're gonna laugh. Yeah. You should
Stands
definitely.
for fatality. Something like that.
One, get out of here. I cannot curse. I cannot curse. But there's something to do with the F word. And PP, of course.
Oh, of
We
course.
forgot
PP.
about the
PP.
PP.
Of course.
We forgot about the PP. And second, you're correct. But there's something more before fatality.
Okay.
Right. Let's move on about the PC. When was the first time ever, both of you, when you touch a mouse? I'm not saying for gaming, just in general. Gigi, go.
School.
School.
We had a computer room at school.
And what they taught you at the computer room, how to be a big ass PP?
Absolutely. Yeah. And here I am.
There you go.
Do you know what? I can't honestly remember what we were taught in computers, but I can remember hacking into Worm, which was a PC version of Snake on the Nokia. I remember doing that and printing off the code to it, and the teacher went mad because the amount of paper to print off the code for Worm was ridiculous. Because it wasn't back then. It wasn't just like one sheet of paper going for a printer, one sheet of paper. It was like a whole reel.
The dot matrix.
Yeah.
Letters.
Yes. And so that's my first experience on a computer, and I've been breaking stuff ever since.
I was gonna say, because I honestly can't say. I can't think when the first time I used a mouse was. I can back in 1985. I remember programming on a BBC Micro.
BBC Micro, wow! I haven't heard about that. BBC Micro, wow!
Which were fantastic. But I remember the and writing in BASIC, and I remember the first program we were ever taught to. Well, apart from Hello World, and filling the screen with Hello World, the next one was drawing random triangles all over the screen in different colors. And that was the first proper piece of programming I ever did.
I remember when the first ever my childhood memories were we had a old school Windows 95 or Windows 98, I think was Windows 98 PC in home.
School, really?
I can see the same things going through Jeannie's head as mine.
You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. Don't be that guy. Be all offended. You're breathing. I'm offended.
I'm just thinking old school to me is DOS.
Yeah, I played on DOS. No, for real. Right. Oh man, and we didn't have we didn't have games at that time, because I remember my grandparents bought that computer because both of them were accountants, so they had a lot of work at home as well. But they didn't have any games, so the only games I played on that computer was Paint, of course, and Solitaire, but I didn't know how to play it at that time. But the first gaming experience on PC I had when I was playing on the Windows 98, old school. It was the Porsche games, Need for Speed Porsche. Porsche Unleashed, I think was it called, or just Need for Speed Unleashed, something like that. Correct me if
just
I'm wrong.
I've just seen the game that you're playing on stream. Oh, that is a classic. It's Worms.
Dun, da, da, da.
It's just awesome. Sorry.
No, I'm good. But the problem is my first ever gaming experience didn't go pretty well for that PC's owner, because I remember literally trying to drive with my feet on the keyboard.
Oh.
I literally remember going back like this, spreading my legs. Ladies, put your hands on your ears. But yeah, no joke aside, I remember just spreading my legs and trying to. I even went to the options to change the steering key so I can steer with my left foot and go up and back, forward and backwards with my right foot. And when that person got back, the PC owner, let's say that he wasn't very happy when what he saw. But I didn't get beaten though. Yay! But yeah, and I played a lot of that game as well.
Back in 90, it must have been about 91, 92. We used to. I was at boarding school back then, and we used to head out in the evening, go to the computer lab, and we would load up the version of F1.
Oh yeah.
Back then. And we would play that for sort of the 2 hours between when we could get out after homework and when the computer lab got locked up in the evening. So between sort of I think it must have been 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock at night. And then we'd get back to our house and try and get back in the house before the house was locked up.
I still remember the black and green screen of the DOS. I remember my aunt. They had my aunt and uncle. They had a PC because my cousin was just started teaching himself and going on programming classes, so they bought him this DOS computer. And I remember, so the screen was this big gigantic square box, which was actually very long in the back, and the screen itself was, let's say, smallish, but the body was and it had this big screen in front of the screen, like a mesh for, I don't know, for keeping the
reducing glare. Those was what those were for.
Yeah, but at that time I was just thinking about that this is some kind of a mosquito net. And actually one time I literally took it off, I broke it and put it on the window because I thought that that's the way to use it. And when my aunt came back, and she just asked me, why is the net on the window? I just said for mosquitoes, and she just said GG PP. That was it. But yeah, also and I was playing the Formula 1 game, which I actually, to be fair, I can remember only the screen, the black and green graphics. The correct me if I'm wrong, but the screen itself was black, and you have these green lines that represent.
That's an earlier version than I was playing.
Oh yeah, I played something before you. Oh yeah.
Because the one I was playing, the F1 I was playing was my first experience of multiplayer. Because there were 4 or 5 of us who would go to the computer lab and do this. So that was my first experience of playing a network game. which was pretty cool. My first experience ever of PC gaming was my dad got an 086 in the late 80s. And that came with a golf game, and that was for about 4 or 5 years. That was the only PC game we had. It loaded up on it, really simple graphics, and yeah, that was fantastic.
But I don't think the DOS had a mouse. You had to type the commands, right?
Yeah, you had to type the commands, and everything was keyboard control. That's what I was saying. It's very difficult for me to work out when was the first time I had a mouse, because I know I had we had a 386, and I think that came with Windows 3.11, and that would probably be my first experience of a mouse, but I don't remember it.
I remember my first experience using a mouse, a computer mouse, was here, where I'm at right now. The mouse was on that PC with the Windows 98, and it had 3 buttons. Until this day, I don't know what the middle button did. You have the left click button, you have the right click button, the little ball underneath the mouse.
Trackball.
But shut up, I'm speaking now. Right. But until this day, I don't know what the middle mouse button was for, and was actually clickable. It's
I was
a
going to say,
mystery.
I have a middle mouse button now.
But you have a scroll, right?
Yeah, but the scroll wheel is also clickable.
Yes, but I'm saying that the mouse I was using was just like this. Let me try to find it, and I will show you. It didn't have
Literally
any.
I know the type you mean. Yeah. I think, if I remember correctly, back then the middle button was a scroll button.
If you hold it, you can go.
And you moved up and down. It was...
Okay, so let me go back 15 years to tell myself, and I'll be back in just a sec.
Good.
Okay, I'm good. Right. So remember when I told you I didn't know about the middle mouse button? I actually know. Right. But back in the day, before Steam, before this easiness when buying games on the internet, when of course you had the old school modem, the slow connection, from where in England did you guys buy games? Giddy, go. Okay, time's up. VF.
I honestly, I can't remember. And that's
was that long?
I think there was.
Did you guys?
I can't honestly remember where I got my games from, and that's quite a sad state of affairs.
I was just going to say.
I can tell you exactly where I got my games from.
Isn't that a little bit sad that you're starting to lose your memory at this age? Usually, people start to do it in a little bit older.
Like at my age.
You're going to hell, Stan.
I know. I'm already there. I'm already there. I'm on the hot chair right now. And Jesse says from the store.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I used to get my games from, and most of these places are gone now.
I was just going to tell you guys, didn't you had some kind of a brand store when, like GameSpot back in the day?
Well, that's the thing. So Electronics Boutique, which no longer exists.
Say it again. Electronics Beauty.
Electronics Boutique.
Ah, Boutique. Okay.
Which I think got bought out by Game. Virgin Megastore. Used to buy games from there.
Yeah. I remember Virgin.
Game. Which of course is still about that. I used to buy games from there. There used to be this wonderful little gaming shop in Norwich called OSB or One Step Beyond.
Mhm.
And I used to buy games from there.
But were you guys able to try the games before you buy them, or they were just in the and we were speaking about CD discs, right?
CDs are going back further. Cartridges, of course.
Yeah,
When
Mm-hmm.
early consoles and tapes. Can't forget the tapes.
Good old
But yeah, certainly the late 90s, early 2000s, it would be like Virgin Megastore and Electronics Boutique and places like that. There were also down when I was down there at university, we used to have computer fairs once a month where you could go and buy components for your computer, but you could also buy games and you could also buy discs of games. So this is kind of how piracy worked back then. But they would shove as many games onto a CD as they could and sell them at various fairs and things around the country.
Come on, man. We know you started. You have to start young at that in that business, pirating.
Well,
Yeah.
The thing is that in my naivety in those days, didn't necessarily know that they were.
Ah.
No, it wasn't the big thing made about it back then as there is now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've just been sitting here thinking, obviously, but I remember borrowing a lot of games from friends of mine. I've never really had a huge game collection until PS3 was when I really sort of stepped up and sort of started buying stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I borrowed more than I bought, which I think for me was the way forward for me was to borrow, because my style of gaming, as we all know, would seem like a waste of money on certain games, because I buy them, I get 10 minutes in and go, well, I suck, and that's that game dead for the rest of, but I think that is what
Did you
I
ever
did.
rent games from places like Blockbuster?
Yeah, Blockbuster and Love Film was the next one that they started doing it. I mean, that was a very good market to corner, and I think, didn't Love Film buy Blockbuster?
I think they did in the end when Blockbuster. Well, because Love Film, of course, is Amazon's, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, but yeah, I think. I mean, I still have Love Film discs somewhere. That
I think they're still going. I think you can still get discs from
you can do films, but they don't do games anymore.
I don't think any. Well, because the game company started doing rotten things like one-use codes and things like that, and that kind of put a stop to a lot of it.
I remember going to the video store and just rent a bunch of movies. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you rent them for 24 hours, I think. And actually, you because the deal in Bulgaria, I think, was like this. So you rented for 24 hours. And in Bulgaria, there were called videotheks, the places where you go to grab a videotape. There were, of course, different names of the particular store, but in general, they were called videotheks. So I remember even you had this promotion in every single store that if you take a tape on Saturday, because they don't work on Sunday, you get Sunday for free. And I remember going with my friends on Wednesday or Thursday to just to make sure that a particular film is gonna be available on Saturday, because everybody was going on Friday and Saturday to rent the movies because Sunday is free. So if they want to watch that movie for third time this weekend, they can, of course. But yeah, it was crazy. But in Bulgaria, they died long time ago. Nobody's
Nah, it's all streaming these days.
I think for videos you used to rent for 24 hours, but with games, I think there used to be a monthly subscription, and then you could have a game for as long as you needed it.
That was certainly true of Love. In fact, I think Love Film did that for films as well. You had a monthly subscription. You kept it as long as you want, but you couldn't have another one until you returned it. Yeah, so have I.
Oh my God!
And I'm going to come back to that in a minute.
Yeah, I can join you on that.
But Blockbusters, yeah, you could only rent games for 24 hours. And you could rent consoles from them as well, because we rented a Dreamcast from them.
Oh my God!
And you had to give a deposit almost as big as the cost of the console, and then you could rent it for, like you said, how long you wanted to rent it for. So I think we rented it for a weekend, just so we could play House of the Dead for the weekend. But as Justice has just pointed out, Betamax videotapes.
Top loading Betamax videos.
Well, my dad plumbed for Betamax in the videotape wars. So we had a Betamax for, well into the 90s, because we had all these films and everything recorded on Betamax.
Oh, wow.
He had all the James Bonds up to, I think it was View to a Kill, recorded on Betamax from the TV.
No, I had Conan the Barbarian and
the Conan with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's a classic.
And,
that's classic.
What's the Back to the Future? That was the other one.
Actually, I watched this movie today, Back to the Future. Actually, I watched it today. Yeah, it was playing in the background when I was recording the farming time lapse.
My two favorite all-time films.
That's for another podcast show. That's for another podcast show. God damn it, you guys!
He got him out. That's fine.
Here's the current topic, and here's where I'm going.
Oh boy. Well, I remember. I was, because of course I didn't use Betamax, because Betamax wasn't popular in Eastern Europe at all. Like, no, Betamax, no.
In all fairness, I don't think it was popular anywhere in the world.
No. It had its fair share of views in America. But of course, the majority of people went for VHS, and I don't remember where, but I remember that I was watching the Lion King movie a lot on VHS, and some other kid show, because I was, of course, very, very little. But right now, behind of me is a VHS player which stays like a monument under my TV, which actually, if you take a closer look in the VHS player itself, there's gonna be a small car stuck inside, which until this day neither me neither my grandfather, which actually bought that VHS player from Germany. And back in the day, to do this, first it was very, very hard, second was very, very expensive, and they told me that I broke it in a week. But it's there, yeah. So that's what my VHS experience was. Literally I remember when I was playing with the VHS tape, and I was just trying to use it as a garage for my cars. So I just took up a bunch of them and I broke it.
I remember I used to religiously record TV shows.
Well, VHS tape has 3 hours of...
And I would edit out adverts on the fly. So I would pause it, and I got one of the ones that had a dial so that I could go back a few frames to make sure I got rid of all the adverts.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would go through and I would edit TV shows as they were airing, so that I had a library. And I think I recorded all of Buffy the Vampire Slayer that way.
Oh.
And probably with Star Trek The Next Generation that way as well.
But why did you record?
Because I wanted. Those were in the days when you would buy if you bought videos of a TV show, you would get 2 episodes on a tape, and it would cost you £15 a tape.
Really? So
Yeah.
so for example, if the season was...
So an entire season of a show would be about 12, 13 tapes. So you would spend 170, 180 pounds to get a single season.
I'll pass.
I mean, I had all of the Star Treks on video. That must have been over £1,000 videotapes.
Right. Again, like we have said, the topic is here. We went right. Okay, guys. Do we have any questions from our audience? I'm gonna give you guys 5 minutes to ask any questions, but we're gonna start wrapping things up. I
just want to say one thing.
That microphone looks like a giant dildo next to my face. Yeah, I agree.
It does, yeah, absolutely. Blockbusters, they used to, well, our ones at least, they used to charge if you didn't rewind the tape before you sent it back.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus, VF, what do you think of... What the hell is that?
What do I think of the new Klingons? In all honesty,
we're going Star Trek. We're going
Star Trek.
Right. So, it was very nice to meet you guys.
Yes, mic drop, wrap it up. Let's get out of here.
Right. Let's see. Thank you very much for everybody who joined. You guys are awesome. We're gonna continue. Right. Okay, for reals. Time out. The referee. Do I need to get my whistle? Favorite game. Okay, favorite 3 games from NES Atari period. Giddy, go.
Gauntlet, Paperboy, Track and Field.
I agree on the track and field. VF?
XCOM, SimCity, and probably Mario Kart.
But can you play SimCity on Atari?
Yes, you could play SimCity on Atari.
Right.
On the Atari S, you could play SimCity.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Okay, for me, because like I said, consoles weren't very, very popular in Bulgaria, and the majority of the games you were playing were on the NES, so that's why my games are only on NES. But of course, first is gonna be the Motomania. I'm not sure if you remember that game. Then we have Duck Hunt, especially for Giddy. Duck Hunt.
Thank you.
And then I will say arcade game. from the arcades machine Cadillacs of Dinosaurs. This game was for me. I spent so much money playing on that game. All my coins were going there. Right.
What was the game? VF might know.
All right. So
What was the game that you used to play a 4-player in the arcades? Drive 4 coloured cars around a racetrack.
Trackmania Nation? Trackmania?
Is it
Something like-
Trackmania? Is it
Trackmania?
something like this, right? Witchy. If you, because I forgot to read the questions. God damn it. Right. Jesus, you said ask any questions. Then yeah, sure, man, no problem. Right, Witchy. If you could only play one game for the rest of your life, what would it be? Ooh, that's a tough one. Ooh, that's a tough one. Giddy, go.
Ooh, one game.
One game.
We're speaking
Wow, that
about
is-
consoles. We're speaking about PC. One game.
We're going any game ever.
Yeah.
Can
That's-
I download mods for it? Because that is a big. That would make a big difference.
Okay,
Well, I
let's say one game you cannot download mods and one game you can download mods. That's gonna be a little bit easier because yeah, the question is tricky, and which says yes.
Ah. Well, I would say mods. I would probably have to go with Farm Sim.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the expanse of the actual game. You could, I mean, you're going to be immersed in Farm Sim for years to come anyway. And a game with no mods, Theme Park, because
Okay.
I enjoyed Theme Park.
Okay. VF.
I agree. If it's a game with mods, Farm Sim, simply because the number of mods, the number of bits can be changed are incredible. So yeah, you could play that for years and not get bored of it. And in fact, I have been and not got bored of it. So yeah. For a game without mods, it's going to have to be something expansive. So it's either going to be something open-ended like SimCity, and I think SimCity 3000 is probably the best game for that.
Mm-hmm.
No, actually SimCity 4, because SimCity 4 has all those little patches of land you could do. So you could filling that entire map would take you years.
Yeah,
So
just to
I would-
refine everything. Yeah, to make one big
Yeah.
city.
I think it would have to be SimCity 4.
All right.
Can I change mine?
That would be one Nissan GTR, but sure, go on.
A game without mods, Skyrim.
You see, I've not played Skyrim. I own it. I've not played
You
it.
have not played Skyrim?
I've not played Skyrim. I think if I look
Stop
down
watching
my list-
porn and start playing Skyrim.
Oh no,
Oh,
I
dear.
take it back. I don't even own it.
Oh, you don't? Yeah. Actually, it's very, very awesome, man. You should wait for the Steam winter sale, holiday sales. You should get it.
Yeah.
You should get it. Right, for me, I'm gonna cheat a lot by saying with mods, I'm gonna choose GTA 5 because you can mod so much out of this game that if I can only play this game and I can mod it, I'm gonna download arcade games, mods. I will download PlayStation 2 mods. You can play it in the game. Also, I will download farming sim mods to play it in the game because I'm a jerk and I'm gonna do this and you're gonna play only farming sim. You'll be, oh Stan, can I kill someone with my combine? I was like, no, but I can in my game. Oh my god. But for a game which I cannot mod. Like I said, I don't have too much experience with consoles, so it's gonna be from PC, but I don't know. Probably I'm gonna say Need for Speed Underground 2, because I remember playing it so much back in the day, like experimenting with different cars, different builds, different visuals. So, like, I remember one time I had that game for a year and I played it every single day, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. So I think those are my two games, which, because I say it again, I just gonna mod the hell out of GTA 5. I'm gonna play farming sim in GTA 5, and screw you guys.
I was, it was between. Actually, I nearly said GTA 5 as my non-mod game.
Uh-huh.
I think there's so much content in that game anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse says farm sim with mods and World of Warship without mods. Oh, interesting. World of Warships. Okay. All right. I actually forgot. So, VF, you told me the first multiplayer experience you had was on the NS-DOS, the F1 game. Gigi, when was your first multiplayer experience? Try to be PG.
I cannot for the life of me remember the name of the game, and I've been trying to remember it all night, to be honest. But it was a Black Ops kind of game.
Black
for
Ops.
for the PC, like Call of Duty.
Uh-huh. Delta Force.
That's it. That was my first.
Thank you very much for joining the stream, guys. It was.
I was gonna go with Counter Strike.
No, yeah.
Come on, man! Come on.
That was my first experience multiplayer.
My first experience with multiplayer was I think Counter Strike and Half-Life. Because when I was little, when PC gaming and those computer / internet clubs were very, very famous in Bulgaria, very popular. Everybody was playing either StarCraft or Counter Strike or World of Warcraft. Those were those three main games, and I was so little, so and Quake, of course, Matt, and Quake. But I remember, because I was so little, playing World of Warcraft or Quake or sorry guys, I tried to hold it for a few seconds, I couldn't. Better it out and in. Right, like I was saying, so because I was very little, I didn't understand StarCraft, I didn't understood World of Warcraft, I didn't understood Quake, but Counter Strike, like, you have a pistol, what are you gonna do with the pistol? Kill them. So I played a bunch of Counter Strike, which I never liked, but everybody was playing it, so I wanted to be with the cool kids. So there we go.
I think in my loft, I may have an original copy of the StarCraft Collector's Edition.
StarCraft Collector's Edition?
Yes. StarCraft. I remember when StarCraft came out, and there was this huge thing about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going into game and buying the collector's edition of it.
Ooh.
And I might have that boxed somewhere. It came with. I know it came with a T-shirt. And the craziest thing is, I've never played it. I bought the collector's edition of it for like £50, and I've never played it. There you go. There you go. Oh man.
Right, guys. Any more questions? I'm gonna give you guys 2 minutes, and by that time we're gonna start wrapping things up. So, we heard the three of us our favorite games, but I didn't heard your favorite games from PlayStation era. VF, go. PlayStation era.
PlayStation era, without a doubt, the game I played more than anything on the PlayStation is Guitar Hero. Basically, by the time I sold my PS2, that was the game I played more than anything else, and that's both Guitar Hero 2 and 3. I actually had 2 guitars, so I could do multiplayer on it.
But did Guitar Hero had a one multiplayer or just a local one?
It was just local. It was 2 guitar streams on the same screen, so going up screen sort of like that.
Right. Did you?
Theme Park would be the game that I played the hell out of.
I want to mention something that more and more than I watch your streams and you're in my podcast, you are going lower and lower to the bottom left corner. By the next 10 streams, probably only your head is gonna be on the camera.
This is where I sleep. I'm just slowly, gradually getting closer and closer to going to bed.
I can literally see how much you're tired, man, right now. Don't worry, we're gonna finish in the next few minutes. I literally can see how much you want to go to sleep right now.
We ready? Right, we're done. I'm done. I'm all right.
Right. You said theme park. Right. I'm not gonna say any game just because I don't have any PlayStation experience. Like I told you guys, I played a few times on the PlayStation 2. I actually haven't played on the PlayStation 4, for example. I played one time on the Xbox, the new one, X1, Xbox, the Cube one. So I don't have any experience with consoles, so I cannot say anything. Right, PC games, VF. My kind sir. 3 games, because it's a little bit tougher. 3 games.
Even 3 games is tough.
Choose wisely. Choose wisely.
Okay, absolutely, without a doubt, Farm Sim. There is no game.
Boring.
Honestly, in the last 3 years, there is no game I've enjoyed more on the PC than Farm Sim. Next to that, it's XCOM. XCOM I've spent ridiculous numbers of hours on, both the originals, all the follows throughs, Enemy Unknown, and now in XCOM 2, all of those. And then it's probably going to be the SimCities. You know, all of those are fantastic games, and again, I've spent hours and hours and hours in them. But having said that, there are still so many games. You know, Left 4 Dead, Team Fortress, Half-Life, and Half-Life 2, and Doom, and you know, all of these fantastic. And it's very hard to go, in the last 20 years, these are my favorite games, because there are so many.
Right. Gigi?
Delta Force is going to have to be one, because that's really what brought me into PCs.
Any particular Delta Force, or in general, the franchise?
Just, I think it was just Delta Force. I can't remember what it was. You know, if it was like you get Call of Duty Black Ops. I don't know. I can't remember which one it was. So there's definitely that one. City Skylines for me, because I never went SimCity.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoy playing that. And probably finally, if I'm not gonna go farm sim, then
Please don't.
It would probably be Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Mm-hmm.
I think
We are not
Roller
here to
Coaster
judge.
3.
If you say porn simulator, I mean, it's your opinion.
I want to know when that's coming into your streams, because people have asked you to play it, Stan. And
It's not gonna happen.
You're just ignoring the fans, buddy. You're ignoring all the fans. You're not going to get anywhere.
For all my new 270 subscribers for the past 2 days, it's not gonna happen. For right now, I have 770 subscribers. It's not gonna happen.
1,000 subscribers, porn studio live stream. He said it here first.
Yeah, we all heard him.
Well, I was speaking something about the dildo earlier. If you want to join, you're free to do so, but no, it's not gonna happen.
PP.
Of course, PP. Of course. And nobody knows what we're talking about, but that's good.
Absolutely.
Right. Witchy, I heard that as well. Of course. Right. For me, I will say that one of my favorite games on PC is GTA San Andreas, because it was the first big game for me, and I played it when I was let's say the young teenager. I wasn't a full teenager yet. I was a young teenager, 13, 14 years old. So this game gave me so many opportunities. Let's say that grabbing a professional female from the streets, working with her, and then hit her for her money can be fun at that age. Let's say it can be fun for
I challenge anybody who has ever played GTA San Andreas or any other GTA game actually to say that they didn't do that.
Yo, you know when you're bored, when you play a GTA game and you actually follow the traffic rules, then you're bored.
Then you're bored.
I actually did that one time because I had this.
I just need to open my back door. Hang on, gonna let me dogs out.
Who let the dogs out? Right. I actually once did that. I had this big save on GTA San Andreas where I did everything. I did a 100% playthrough. I had the I think was using the IGN's playthrough site where you have the different stuff you need to do. And I spent so many hours, and when I finally did it, I was like, what now? So one time I was so bored and I just literally got into the game, and I followed the traffic rules. And when I told my friends, they told me that I lost my mind, and I completely agree. Right. Next game. Definitely Star Wars Battlefront and Star Wars Battlefront 2. I'm not sure if you guys know, but actually Star Wars Battlefront 1 helped it helped FPS games to get more coverage, because at the time StarCraft, GTA, all of these different type of games were so popular that actually FPS games weren't. And actually, Star Wars Battlefront 1 helped for the FPS genre to immerse. And actually, Battlefield games, I'm not sure if you guys know that, but the main developer on Battlefield, I think Battlefield 3, he was a very big fan of Star Wars, so it helped him create Battlefield 3, 4, and so on and so on. Jesse says Star Wars Rebellion. I agree. And
for me, the Star Wars games, X-wing TIE Fighter and X-wing versus TIE Fighter.
Oh yeah, they're cool. Yeah, of course.
And
of course.
I have those on Steam, and I've been waiting to play them for months because you cannot play them without a joystick.
You
The
should
game
buy a
will
joystick.
not even load if you don't have a joystick.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I finally have a joystick, so
Yay!
now I can play them.
All right. And the third game. Now that I think about it,
He's gonna say Farm Sim.
Mm-hmm.
I think my facial expression said enough.
Porn studio.
I'm showing a finger underneath here.
Is that a no? Is it?
I'm showing a finger, but I'm not sure. I'm not showing which one of it. Probably you'll know which one.
I can clearly see that. I don't quite know what you're pointing at, but
Oh man, right?
Jesse agrees with me.
Huh?
Jesse agrees with me.
Oh yeah, right. But about the third game, I'm not sure. Like honestly, I cannot give a proper honest answer. I can say Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2, but I agree with myself on 90%. Like for Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2 and GTA San Andreas, I am 110% sure with myself. But okay, let's say the third game is the Need for Speed 1 and 2, just to have the third game. But other than those two, there wasn't a game which actually touched my inner soul so much. But yeah, right, guys. Any more questions? Jesse says town looks like a tic-tac-toe man. What is a tic-tac-toe man? I'm not an Englishman, man. I don't know your folklore shit.
Where are we?
tic tac toe.
Tic tac toe. I'm gonna draw it.
Right, this is drawing with VF 101.
Life drawing with.
Yeah.
Tic tac toe.
Uh-huh.
Ah,
Noughts and crosses.
noughts and crosses.
Yeah, I know the game, but why tic-tac-toe man? Why do I look like...
You look like somebody who really likes playing tic tac toe. It's what Jess is saying.
I never knew there was a type. That's fine.
No, me
Jesus,
neither.
do you tell that I'm old? Because old people play that game? Now you're gonna make me go on my browser and actually type this just to tell...
I'm now kind of wondering what the significance of the plug prongs is.
The what?
Nothing.
The what? No, I literally didn't hear you.
You put the plug prongs down perfectly so they were right in the front of the screen. You got in your hand the plug you got
Ah,
in your hand. You put them about there.
like this?
Yes.
Ah.
And they were right. They were the front and center thing on the screen.
Oh man. Right. I think
That's a good time to end.
I was just about to say. Uh, I was just about to say that we had a lot of fun today, guys. Okay, let's wrap things up. I think this episode went well, and also I had a lot of fun, which I personally want to thank you guys for joining, VF and Giddy, and thank to Chat for joining us. Jesses, especially tic tac toe man, my ass. But yeah, I think
You're playing it wrong, Stan.
I'm playing it wrong because X is not gonna go into the upper right corner. Jesses.
Do you know what's
Right.
really sad? When I've got bored recently, I've tried to see if there's a way where you can win it without the other person making a mistake.
Well, I'm out.
I was just going to say 3 words. Pornhub.com.
You think I need a business?
When you're bored.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure
I'm
there's.
not quite
there-
sure I can do that at my desk at work.
Turn your desk into a corner. You'll be fine. No
Well, you can do it, but
Yeah, I don't think I'll have a job for very long.
well, you just have to explain to your boss and just say that you don't get it at home, and he'll probably understand. Right? That's another podcast topic. That's another podcast topic, right? We're having too much fun. Right, guys. Once again, thank you very much for joining me for tonight's podcast. I had a blast. I hope you had a blast too, which for me, I don't care about VF and Giddy. They're very awful people. Why do I even get them as guests?
Thank you for asking me.
PP. That's what I can.
Of course, one word, PP. Right, guys? But yeah, for realsies. Thank you very much for joining tonight's stream. It was a blast. Really. Thank you again.
Thanks for inviting me. It's been good. It's been nice. It's been fun. I've really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I think VF, you had fun last time, and it actually got you pretty good this time as well.
Yeah, I've had both fun both times being on here, so thank you for that.
Right, guys. So let me switch the view like so. Okay, guys. Once again, thank you very much for whoever who joined, who was in the chat, Witchy, Jesses, everybody. That's it from now, guys. From me, from Gamer Dragon, and from Virtual Farmer. Have a nice, peaceful evening, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Toto finito.